Welcome back, guys, to the TheSpurgeonPiper. This is Wilson with you. If I asked you, what do you think my most controversial videos have been, or what videos have brought the more pushbacks or controversial comments, what have you, you would probably think they would be more the theological ones. I do dabble those time to time. I'm a pastor after all. Why wouldn't I? But actually, that's not so much the case. There are two videos that stand out that have brought pushback. One was a video on comparing a blend to Esoterica Penzance, thinking it's about as equivalent. The other, and what pertains to this video today, is one that pertained to my pipe rotation and how often we should rotate pipes, or you can even involve in there cleaning pipes. And that one brought a lot of conversations. It involved how we are, well, frankly, spoiled in the amount of pipes we have or have access to nowadays compared to those who precede us in decades or even centuries past, where they would light a pipe or pack a pipe and light a pipe, and they would smoke it daily, multiple times a day, weeks on end, without ever thinking about rotating a pipe or even cleaning it. So I wanted to address that video. It was 3 years ago. It wasn't a great video. You can go back and check it if you want to, but I wanted to update you on, number one, why or how I rotate my pipes. I want to get into why I do, and frankly, do we need to do that? It's a good conversation to have, especially if you're new to pipe smoking. So let me go over essentially how I handle my pipe rotation. And when I'm talking about pipe rotation, I'm speaking of me smoking a pipe and going on to other pipes that I do have. Is there a rhyme or rhythm to it? And for me, there is a yes. However, it needs to be emphasized, it is somewhat subjective. There are a lot of ways to skin a cat in this regard, and that's why there is a lot of conversation on this matter. So I'm showing you my way. My way is not necessarily the right way, all right? So let me get into it. You usually will notice on most of my videos, I have two pipes usually laid out. I am someone, and this gets into why I rotate my pipes. I'm someone who has the luxury of smoking my pipes more than others. Right, so you think of more those who are writers or authors, those who work at home in one spot, they're in an office, what have you. They are usually going to be ones who can smoke their pipe more often. You think of the Tolkiens and C.S. Lewis, those are the big examples of the world, or Charles Spurgeon, the pastor. They often were able to smoke more often because of their situation. That's me. I smoke as little as no days a week, or no days, or some days I smoke none. I probably average 2 to 3 bowls a day, and I've gone even farther than that into 6 bowls or so, depending on the time of the week. So I usually smoke 2 pipes a day, or I use 2 pipes in a day. Do I only use 2 pipes and then switch the next day? Not necessarily. And so I have evolved in this regard compared to in the past, and even that video I mentioned. For instance, these 2 pipes here, I have been smoking them. I picked them up today or took them off my rack today, and I will probably smoke them for the next 2 to 3 days. And in the midst of going back and forth and smoking these 2 pipes, I'm going to, after I get done with smoking one, I'm going to grab pipe cleaners, as you can see here, just some regular pipe cleaners, and I'll break them down after they cooled off, and I'll just run a pipe cleaner through it and let it rest. Smoke the other one when I'm ready to. When I'm done with that one, I'll do the same and go back to this one, and I'll do that as many times as I'm smoking the pipe. Where do I stop? What is it a really clear, like Wilson's going to smoke it 2 times in a week, 2 days in a week, and then he's going to rest them and put them back? Maybe, and it depends. This gets into how this is subjective and why I do what I do when it comes to pipe rotation and cleaning. So again, are there those who just smoke the same pipe on without end and not bother with much of a cleaning or certainly no rotation? Yeah, absolutely. But the reason why I do is less about I think I'm going to destroy my pipe, though there could be just regular wear and care. Everything has a time limit, doesn't it? It's eventually going to wear down. So there is that aspect. I want to take care of what I purchase and make sure I handle them appropriately. But it more so, to be honest, gets into taste. And this evolved, or I've adapted to this as time has gone on. So especially when we're smoking blends that are more distinguished, which marks our day and age nowadays compared to in decades on past, where many of the blends available, which were a lot fewer, many of the blends that were available were very basic and mostly aromatic blends. You think of your Captain Black, you think of Half and Half, your Walter Riley. Today we have them. We call them Codger blends time to time. I have the Sutliff, Super Value by Sutliff pipe tobacco. It's just a basic burley, maybe some Virginia in there, but it's a vanilla aromatic blend. It's very basic. You're not really trying to discover any taste. Many notes. You throw it in a pipe, you smoke it, you can just forget about it, right? That has marked most pipe smokers for most decades. They throw blend in their pipe and they forget about it. And if that is the ideal scenario for you, if that's all you really care about, which is wonderful, there is a different method more than likely you will take when it comes to pipe rotation and even cleaning your pipes. Because if you're just simply tasting vanilla or maybe a bit of molasses, some basic burley notes with a sugar casing, you're really not missing much. Not to mention, back in the day, most of the pipes are very cheap. They had things like Dr. Grabo's here that you can buy at the store, and you can get them for, well, in those days, they're what, a few dollars, I'm gonna assume. Nowadays, what can you get them for? 15, 20 bucks? Maybe they get up to 30, but it's still cheap. You're really not concerned about the state of your pipe. You're not concerned about maybe so much of the cleaning or condition inside of your pipe. And so there's a different mindset you do have. Not to mention, most were, like my grandfather, most were not sitting at a desk like me doing writing or studying. They were out and working on a vehicle, working on the farm, what have you. And so there was less mindset of what was going on in pipe smoking or in the flavors. They were simply happy with what they had and they smoked it. And if one of these broke or just became nasty, maybe then they would either clean it or get a new one. So there's that mindset, and that's not a wrong mindset. But in our day and age, with what I do and what I have, this is why I clean mine more often, because instead of smoking super value so much or basic aromatic blends that are very one-dimensional, and instead of me smoking mini Grabos, in fact, I actually don't have a Grabo in my rotation, I smoke pipes that are middle of the road in expenses, right? I certainly don't smoke hundreds of dollars worth of pipes in value. I think my most expensive pipe is somewhere in the $300 range, which is pretty substantial to me, though there's far, far more expensive pipes. Mine are usually hover around the $100 range. Right, so these are exceptions. This one was gifted to me by Papa Bear Pipes, grateful for, but still a nice custom artisan pipe. And this one also is an artisan pipe from Drew Dunn. But I have Petersons, I have Savinellis. They range from $75, $100 on average, some are above that. So I would call middle of the road pipes. And not only is it the type of pipe I smoke, but it's the type of tobacco I smoke, you see? And I think that's one thing we forget. A couple of blends I have here. I have a new blend that's coming out that is by Seattle Pipe Club, and that's Hogshead. I just reviewed that. It's their bourbon barrel aged. And then one of my favorites of all times that I keep cellared and I haven't even touched recently, and that's Stonehenge Flake by GLPs. Well, what's different about these than your Captain Black and your Half and Half and your Super Value vanilla basic tobacco? There's a lot more going on with these. There's a lot more nuance. There's intricate taste and character notes. That's how they are made, because there's a lot more involved, and a lot of tobacco sources and different leaves. I notice now with my taste, if I continue to smoke my pipes without really cleaning them, or even if I do clean them time to time, I put the pipe cleaner through and I set it aside. After, let's just throw out a number here. Let's say 8 smokes each, or 6 to 8 smokes. I'm not tasting what I used to taste. The quality is starting to diminish. So it's that reason that I rotate my pipes. All right. Well, is that spoiled? Oh, sure. Of course I am. We're all spoiled in our 21st century, and most of us living in first world countries and what we have access to. So yes, that's certainly involved. But it's also serving a purpose of, I like to taste those intricate notes, really get into the depths of them. Even if they're more basic burley blends like H&H Burley Flake, pretty one-dimensional as far as has a bit of Virginia, has some burley, But those notes ring, they sing, they come out when you have a pipe that is in good, decent, clean shape. It hasn't been smoked a lot, and they come through. Those notes do. It's a quality smoke. I have that luxury to seek those things, and I have done the whole burn it out and smoke as many bowls as you can and without cleaning it. I've done that. I did that in the beginning, and I still enjoyed pipe smoking. So if you're doing that, kudos to you. There's nothing wrong with that. But it grew as I developed in my taste. It grew that I was searching these intricate notes, and to chase those notes, I did need to change how I approached my pipe smoking. All right. So if I was someone who went back from doing so much studies to doing, working on the farm as I used to be a farmer, I'm probably going to adjust some of these things. I probably would stick more to a vanilla pipe tobacco, or again, just a codger blend, half and half, like Walter Riley, because there's not much thought process going into that. I'm going to be out in the field or out on a tractor or doing something with my hands, and my mind's not so settled into the blend I'm smoking. It is settled into just having something enjoyable in the background to smoke. And also, I'm not going to be taking, if in those settings, I'm not going to be taking nicer pipes like I do have here. I would be chasing more of the cheaper, maybe cheaper Petersons or Savinellis or a Rossi pipe or something like that, all the way down to maybe a corn cob or a Dr. Grayboe. My pipe smoking is going to suit my situation. And since my pipe smoking is going to suit my situation, my cleaning and my pipe rotation is going to suit my situation. This also involves, and this is important, how often do you smoke a pipe? If you're only smoking your pipe maybe once a week, you certainly shouldn't follow what I do. You probably can smoke one pipe regardless of how the quality. You could probably smoke it, after you smoke once and you clean it out, you could probably smoke it for weeks on end without really thinking about switching over to another pipe because you're not smoking that much. So that's the other thing to consider in all of this. So with all that said, is it unneeded to clean or rotate pipes as much as we do? Maybe, probably, and it could be certainly for you. Could I get by without cleaning my pipes or rotating my pipes as much as I should? Certainly, but I would have a diminishing returns when it comes to what I'm tasting. So consider those things. Again, there's not one way to skin a cat here or one way to go. There's not one right way. You should just simply follow what suits your state of life and your position on tobacco smoking altogether. How often do you smoke? What quality of pipes do you have? What do you enjoy smoking in the first place? And follow suit. So there you have it. If you have thoughts or questions, if you want to give your ideas of what should be followed when it comes to pipe rotation or cleaning, or what have you, feel free to leave them below and let others know what you do. Guys, that's all I have this week. I hope you're doing well and I hope you're blessed, and we'll talk to you very soon.